every mistake a 2D Sonic game could possibly make. This is the low point of the marathon for sure, and while Sonic himself is home to far worse tripe than this, I just hate this game to the core. Maybe it's because I didn't grow up with this game, since I only played it for the first time about 4 years ago as the time of writing in 2017. But that matters not. Seeing as I didn't plan on hating it, I picked it up, played 4 zones, enjoyed what I played up to that point, put it down for the day, picked it up again the following day, and had to play Sky Canyon, and I want to throw myself out a window for the following month where I got my ass royally handed to me by that awful stage. Were my problems with Sonic Advance 1 fixed? No, they were made eons worse. So I'm going to break the mold and start this review with everything that has nothing to do with the gameplay, starting with the story, followed by the presentation, and then the review begins.
But isn't that what you always do?
Shut up. Get out.
In the last review, I didn't bring attention to the storyline of Advance 1 because, what story? The game was about stopping the bad guy and calling it a day. Sonic Advance 2 is more the same in that regard, however, throughout Sonic's campaign, you're treated to tiny cutscenes establishing Sonic's interaction with his various friends, such as Tails, Knuckles, and a newcomer, Cream the Rabbit, who has a pretty alright design and fits in with the rest of the cast quite well. Basically, her motive is that she, alongside her friend Cheese the Chao, want to rescue Cream's mother, Vanilla, who got captured by Eggman. Sonic, of course, wishes to help out and goes to hunt Eggman down alongside his other friends. Why Eggman wants to capture, then recapture Cream's mom of all people, I have no idea, nor do I care enough to want to find out. Although it does make you want... No, I'm just stopping there. The presentation of Sonic Advance 2 is even better than the last game. I praised the graphics of the first Advance game to hell and back, and here I find the sprite work and backgrounds to look even better than the last game, since the sprites are even more detailed, look great in motion, unless you zoom in on the faces while the characters are going up hills and through loops, then things get a little messy at that point. However, like I said earlier, I really do enjoy the wide variety in the backgrounds in addition to the detail put in, like with the stars in Music Plant or the lights in Ice Paradise, as well as all the detailed machinery in Egg Utopia. Also, I enjoy these little cutscenes. While there's not much to them, I just find the character interactions and the artwork to look pretty good. In regards to the soundtrack, Sonic Advance 2 is also an improvement from the last game in terms of composition, instrumentation, and the list goes on. The pieces have a very high energy feeling to them, fitting the fast-paced level design. The only ones I don't care for being Leaf Forest and Techno Bass. The former because it's really bland, and the latter because I can't even remember what it sounds like. But let's just play my favorites. In the comments of the last video, someone had informed me about the use of the Tiny Chao Garden. It was basically a promotion for Sonic Adventure DX for the GameCube, the 2003 port of the original Sonic Adventure for the Dreamcast. The Dreamcast had a VMU that you could attach to the controller for saving your game, but it also works with SA1's Chao Garden. However, the GameCube didn't have anything akin to that, so the Tiny Chao Garden in Advance 1 was built for that purpose. The more you know, right? But still, on its own, the Tiny Chao Garden left no impact on me, and that's the effect it has on me here. The only real difference was that the Rock Paper Scissors game has been replaced with a game where Cream bounces cheese into the sky where you collect rings, and it kind of reminds me of the circus games in Sonic Lost World on Wii U. It's fine, but whatever. Other than that, the time attack mode is back in Sonic Advance 2, and it works the same way. Play as your favorite character in any stage, and now boss, although why you would want to pick these bosses, I don't know. And you have no lives, and need to make the best time only now with a gold, silver, and bronze ranking, which is probably where Sonic Advance 3 got that idea for the main game. And also the multiplayer in Sonic Advance 2 is the same as it was in the last game. You and a friend must race your way through the stages and boss battles, kind of like a Sonic Rivals game. You can play with up to, I believe, 4 players for all the default characters. Just don't let Moses play.
Oh my god! Fuck it! Come on!
Now anyway, let's get into the review. I'm gonna be with the characters, however, in all honesty, there's not much to talk about. First and foremost, for the time being, say goodbye to Amy and her playstyle from the first game, since these levels are just incompatible with that gameplay. With Sonic Advance 2 being one of the first Sonic games to make going as absolutely fast as possible the main gimmick. While this was a possibility in many of the previous games, here, going fast is most certainly what the game is driving you to do the most. With Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles coming equipped with all their standard abilities you should be expecting at this point. Knuckles glides and climbs, and Tails flies, etc. All of them spin dash, roll into a ball, as well as having their B attacks. sliding, tail swipes. But Knuckles had his 2-punch uppercut combo reduced to just 2 punches for some arbitrary reason. However, these levels just don't use any of these specific abilities all that well. More info to come on that later, but still. The new character added to the fray is Cream the Rabbit, as I said earlier. She doesn't have a core gimmick in the stages like Amy, but in bosses her gimmick is that she's the Chao will home in on these guys and tear them apart, allowing you to cheese your way to victory. She can use this in the stages, but from my experience, you'll get much more out of it in the bosses than the stages. She can also fly, which is nice, I guess, but pretty much the same thing as Tails. One of the issues many Sonic games have had, such as Sonic and the Secret Rings, is that Sonic Team, or DIMS, or whoever's designing the game, the beginning few stages are really well built around the gimmick and provide some genuinely exciting set pieces. However, when it comes to design some more intricate challenges, the game begins to fall apart since the design is just not good enough to allow these gameplay styles to work in levels that are not really basic. Seeing as Secret Rings is one of my biggest guilty pleasure games, I just want to throw it out there that this segment was like one paragraph, but I ended up playing the game for like 25 minutes, so I'll explain more. Levels like Sand Oasis or Dinosaur Jungle are strictly spectacle based, with not really asking much of the player, just providing you the thrill of Sonic going so fast that he can run up a wall. However, in levels like Night Palace, the spears and the cracking floors are everywhere, making the high speed not something that complements the levels. And the restricted camera and on-rails controls are no help in levels like Skeleton Dome, where you need to see and kill multiple enemies. But this isn't a Secret Rings review, so I'll get off that topic. I would bring up 06 as an example, but let's not talk about that dead horse for now. And I've also never played like Sonic Lost World 3DS, but I have heard it has a similar kind of issue. But anyway, I need to tie this back into Sonic Advance 2 now, don't I? Well, first I should explain how speed factors into the game as a gimmick. As I said earlier, speed in previous Sonic games was a result of skill that you had earned through practicing the game. This game introduces the boost mode, which while that sounds like something Sonic Unleashed and Rush introduced, Advance 2 introduced it in a much more primitive form. How it works is that after running for a while, Sonic and the other characters will break the sound barrier, and go at Mach speed. I'm just going to say that I love the effect for this. The after image the characters leave behind just looks great and adds some extra pizzazz to going at breakneck speeds. The top left corner displays your ring count as always, however the spinning ring shows how fast you're going, since the more rings you collect the quicker you'll enter the boost mode, which as a result incentivizes collecting and keeping your rings, which in this game is easier said than done. Another new addition I should bring up is the trick system, which also is a more primitive version of the one from Sonic Rush. After a jump via a dash pad or a spring, when pressing the R button, all the characters will go flying backwards, but if you hold the D-pad in a specific direction, then they'll go flying in that direction. I hope you know that going into the game, by the way, seeing as nobody ever tells you it, but trust me, you will need to know. So we begin the game in Leaf Forest Zone, which is a pretty typical Sonic intro stage when it comes to aesthetics, but I'm just going to mention that for the first few levels, I don't really have much to say, so I'm just going to group them all together. The next level being Hot Crater, and this level as well as the first look great, sound great, but what is there to these levels beyond dash pads and springs and other automated sequences that are just here to make the boost mode look really cool? Is this really the height of Sonic level design? Just going forward with nothing else to it? Is this really why Green Hill Zone is a beloved stage, or Flying Battery, or Aquatic Ruins? No, those levels are loved for their depth, when these first two zones have the depth of a kiddie pool. I'm not trying to sound like some classic fan who thinks everything modern is bad, but this level design is just not cutting it in my opinion. Since if you're not in the boost mode, then all bets are off, these levels just plain suck. City Escape was more interesting, for God's sake. Yeah, I said it. That level's not that great. Don't even get me started on trying to explore these stages, then every stage is a 0 out of 10, but I'm getting ahead of myself. The point is, I have nothing to say, seeing as many people that have played this game before could probably beat the stage blindfolded. Okay, after testing that out, I was wrong. There were a few times where I had to see, but the fact that for about 84 seconds of a 90-second run of the stage I didn't have to look at the screen is pretty bad. These levels are just bland, and despite being different technically, they leave the same impact on me. The next level is Music Plant. I'm not sure how to feel about this one. If we start with the visuals, I think the Music Plant has an identity all its own, with the musical instruments all over the place substituting the regular Sonic tropes. It gives the level a lasting impression despite not being all that well designed. Examples including the piano keys that bounce you around, the sound effects that play when bouncing off a spring, or being blown out of a clarinet, and the list goes on. I said the level's not that well designed, seeing as again, most of it's not very interesting with a few annoying bits to boot. However, on the whole, this is absolutely the best level in the game. Next up is Ice Paradise, yet another phenomenal stage when it comes to visuals with a starry night sky with the lights, like I said at the beginning of the review, but the level itself, it's alright. I don't have much to say again, since for the most part you let dash pads and springs do the job for you. If not that, then you're wading through these slide sequences. And it's worth repeating that these kinds of spectacle-based moments are not bad in and of themselves, but it leaves me with little to talk about in regards to the individual stages. That, and like I said already, these levels do a piss-poor job making me want to use the special abilities from the characters. What reason would I have to fly or glide in stages that force you forward all the time? This makes the repetition issue from the last game way worse, seeing as you have to beat this game 4 times as well, which was an inconvenience in the last game, but not a huge issue given how the differing abilities changed the gameplay. Here, every playthrough is the same with a few differences here and there like Sonic Heroes. That game gets that criticism many times, but this one doesn't. I don't get that, seeing as I find playing this shitty game 4 times to be just as egregious. This, combined with the other stipulation to get to the final boss, adds up to quite the miserable experience. But up to this point, we've had 2 levels that are lame but playable, and 2 that are meh. However, as a whole, if this is what Sonic Advance 2 was for the entire game, I would just say it's an overall inoffensive Sonic game, neither good or bad. However, here is where it goes downhill, and fast. That brings us to one of my least favorite stages in all of 2D Sonic, Sky Canyon. Again, I'm trying to avoid getting to X6 lengths in this video, because I want it to be level-headed enough for my criticism to be taken seriously, so I figured I'd start this portion with a story. At the beginning of the review, I said I had wanted to throw the game out a window here, and that was because when you put Sonic Advance 2 down, you lose all the lives you just spent the last several hours grinding for. So after I put the game down at this level, I turned the game on the next day, came to this level I had never played before, and got a game over at every possible turn since I had an ultimatum. Play with 2 lives, or play the previous levels again to grind, which I guess is simple enough seeing as you can leave stages at any time unlike Advance 1, but I don't want to play these levels I beat already just to progress. So I played the first act, got my ass kicked every 2 seconds by all the ridiculous leaps of faith caused by the screen resolution, all the damn roadblocks that stop your speed and send you flying into pits, which goes against what the last several levels have taught you already. Grind rails are also used more frequently in Sonic Advance 2, and they have the same problem as the last game, only difference being that in this game, you actually have to depend on these to get by. So therefore you better pray you land on the top portion, or else you're screwed out of a life. Oh, gotta love how they saved me here in Act 2, but then fucked me over right after. The trick system also becomes mandatory despite the game never telling you how to do it, and it not being mandatory before, so great, that's just another roadblock to get in your way. Seriously, this is Gate Stage 2 levels of bad. Saying as I have to do Act 1 again when I get a game over in Act 1, naturally, that's fair, but when I finally get through that terrible stage, you get to Act 2, which is more of the same problems but even more annoying. But getting a game over here boots you back to Act 1. What the fuck? Are you kidding me? I have to play a level I already conquered again. That doesn't make any kind of logical sense. I mean, yeah, Sonic 1 and 2 on the Genesis made you redo the whole game, but who cares? That doesn't fix this problem in Sonic Advance 2, nor were any of those levels this bad. Metropolis maybe, but that's debatable. Regardless, this is a sequel to Sonic Advance 1, which did not have that problem at all. You could redo the act you died on, so why are we regressing the gameplay? Die on the boss? Oh, we'll do the whole zone again. This kind of monotony is simply unacceptable. I've played these levels so many times in 2013 alone that I practically have them memorized, hence why I didn't make too many mistakes in these runs. The next level is Techno Base, and can I just say I fucking hate the visuals in this stage. I mean, cyberspace is a cool idea, but I don't think the background looks good, seeing as it's all black. In addition to that, the multicolored tracks and panels just don't please my eyes. While this level technically took me less time to complete than Sky Canyon, I just hate it more for the visuals and the amount of do-or-die moments that are unparalleled. I guess you now finally have a chance to use the extra abilities from the other characters, but again, there are reasons why even when you can use them, you don't ever need to or feel compelled to do so. This zone's not the worst thing ever, but I hate playing it, and the boss fight is an excellent reason why, but bosses come later. Seriously, this game is very consistent, unlike Mega Man X6. In X6, I had new things to say at every level because the game progressively got worse and worse and worse as it went on, for new reasons. This game is like that too. It does get worse and worse as it goes on, but it's for the same reasons over and over and over again. Like, get a game over, do the zone again, like, what a load of horse shit. The final zone, Egg Utopia, suffers from the same issues, but I do find many of the moments admittedly kind of fun, specifically when swinging on these poles and using the incredibly minimal in use homing attack. By the way, the homing attacks in this game for Sonic, just figured I'd let you know. I enjoyed the bits where the platform goes down the slide, and the space backdrop's pretty cool. However, I don't like the deaths that come from falling through grind rails and dying as a result. But overall, the final level is decent, all things considered. Way better than the last 2 zones, and hell, a ton better than the Egg Rocket and Cosmic Angel from Advance 1. Yes, I did just give this game a legit compliment. So that brings us to the XX zone. Are we going to face the first bosses of Sonic CD? 3 and Knuckles? Oh no. Oh no. This is exactly how this game does it. It just feels like it's taking forever to effortlessly kill all these bosses. I said last time how annoying it was to have to fight the same bosses you fought before.
Once again,
You have to effortlessly pave your way over these guys.
I am Michael from the Retropolis Zone YouTube channel.
Well, the bosses are not as long here as they are in the main game, but whatever, they still suck. But on the topic of that, let's talk about them. Remember the Mushroom Hill boss from Sonic 3 and Knuckles? Well, take that auto-run concept and apply it to every boss and somehow ruin it. I mean, seriously, I don't get it. I really enjoyed that boss. The attacks were telegraphed, and you needed to time your jumps as to hop over the spikes and hit the cockpit. Here, I just don't get what they were thinking. There is next to no balance here. The first boss, for example, is absolutely piss easy, seeing as you can just roll into him and it'll take off like 3 hits at once, ending the fight in a matter of seconds, with bosses 2 and 3 being similarly easy. However, the Ice Paradise boss is the official starting point of this game going off the rails. It's almost impossible to get a hit in at times, making the whole encounter feel about as random as the X-Zone boss. I spent most of it getting hit as opposed to doing the hitting. Another thing I hate about these auto-run bosses is that they seem to apply the force of gravity on you when you take flight as Tails, Knuckles, and Cream, seeing as doing so will send you to the very far side of the screen for absolutely no reason. Again, I don't get it. The next one is the second least favorite in the game, seeing as it will never stop attacking you. If you wait on the far side, a laser strikes. If you get too close, instant kill arm attacks. And again, getting a game over means doing the whole damn zone again. What the hell? The next one being the absolute worst, seeing as it seems to work at almost an unpredictable rate, as not only do the platforms move, but some will drop you for no reason. Some will make spikes, and that would have been fine, but the devs ruined it by having the machine shoot a laser at you, which is just too much to deal with at once. It just takes forever, and if you're ever gonna beat it, you're just gonna get lucky. But the Zone 7 boss brings it back to the ease of the first few with a gravity gimmick. Like, there is no way they didn't know these bosses were awful. My guess is that they designed the bosses with Cream's game-breaking gimmick in mind so that you would use her after getting your ass kicked in Sky Canyon boss and to start again from Act 1. Cream is the first character unlocked, so I think that makes all too much sense. Anyway, the final boss is pretty easy, and I don't just mean as Cream. It's plain broken. Like, look at this shit. Stand on the far platform, the arms won't hit you, and when the platform rises, spin dash into his face, rinse and repeat. Which leads me to the special stages and completing the game. If you didn't like it in Advance 1, Sonic 2, getting the robot generators in Sonic CD, well, this is by far the worst of them all. If not that, then in the top 5. Right off the bat, I'll mention how the roles of difficulty between getting to and the actual special stages themselves have been reversed from the first Advance game. Here, getting into a stage is the largest problem in the entire game. They have to collect 7 special rings in the stages, and with that said, it's complete crap. The screen resolution makes exploring more annoying than it really needs to be. They aren't really hidden all that well, but this level design just doesn't work with exploration since it constantly pushes you forward with dash pads and springs. However, none of this is a big deal. I may find it as annoying as Sonic, but I'll do it like the last game. Pick Cream or Tails, do it as them, since exploring these levels as them will be a snap since now I'll finally have an excuse to use their abilities. Wait, what the fuck? Where are the emeralds I collected as Sonic? Oh no! All of the characters have their own set of emeralds to collect. So get 4 as Sonic? Well, fuck you. You'd have to get them all as Tails again for some reason. Honestly, this doesn't make any sense. So does this mean that within the Sonic world there are multiple sets of the same 7 emeralds? Or is this ludonarrative dissonance? Which even if that was the case, it still makes absolutely no sense and it's just a stupid idea. Getting the emeralds as each character yields a different result. Doing it as Sonic unlocks the final boss, and doing it as the other characters unlocks the various features such as the sound test, which is available at default in the last game. I don't mind having these things be unlocked, but can it be something a little better than exploring these terrible stages for rings 4 miserable times? Doing it as all the characters results in unlocking Amy as a playable character, but what does it matter when Amy is already just a pink Sonic in this game? Also put in these levels where none of her potentially unique abilities come into play. I think this is a pretty crappy award, all things considered. So to get to the final boss, you have to play this game 4 times and get all the emeralds as Sonic, and it's a nightmare. Sonic is just not meant for this kind of exploration, which would have been a good chance to finally play as the other characters to the fullest, but they screwed it up. So in addition to the issues of screen resolutions, this makes one of the most trying 100% processes of all time. For a few more reasons than I already said. Since there's not one bit of aid to find the damn things, which would have been fine if it was 2 to 4 or so, but 7? They can be hidden behind walls or on top of the level, and the list goes on. If you collect 6 of them and beat the stage, the game gives you the middle finger, since if you want to try again, then you have to do it all over and collect the 6 rings you already got the last time and hope to get the one you missed. Die at any point during this, then you might as well exit the stage and start over, since this game is not messing around. Dying means that you lose all of them and have to start over. Like, are you kidding me? Some points are legitimately impossible to go back to as Sonic past a certain point, which also leads to having to do crap over again. Like, what were they thinking? Combined with the whole right to win from the early stages and the piss poor level design of the later ones, you will fail and you will die again and again and again. And for what? These piss poor special stages that are the easiest in the Sonic franchise. Like, I've never had such an easy time in a special stage in my life. Sonic 3D Blast on Genesis is probably harder. Although, the concept is run around in this pseudo 3D world collecting rings, and then you get your ring bonus added up if you collect more rings in a row. There's also Zero from Sonic Adventure chasing you, but that does nothing, because he's hardly ever there, nor will he ever catch up to you. But I just find the visuals here just really nauseatingly gross. Like, it just doesn't look good. It just doesn't look good. The draw distance is bad, the background looks terrible. It's worthless. Do not do it. The true Area 53 as the final boss suffers from visibility issues, seeing as the point is to shoot the missiles back at Eggman when he fires them at you, but I can't even see his full body, in addition to a few annoying attacks. But on the whole, not as worthless as the Moon Zone, but this is still a pretty lame stage. In the end, Sonic saves the day and leaves. And that's about it. I mean, Cream gets her mom back, and Tails and Knuckles wonder what they were even doing here anyway. Thus ending Sonic Advance 2. Well, need I say more? I mean, really, I think the fact that I don't like this game is evident, so I don't wish to repeat myself. Every game has flaws, but similar to how my favorite games are dictated by the emotions given to me when playing them, the worst games I've ever played are decided the same way. Not that these games are truly the worst of all time, but games that I just get no fun factor from and instead just get pissed off at and just want to stop playing them. Thankfully, I don't have too many of those things. Usually I only play games I know I'm going to find some kind of fun in, but this game is one of those for me. Beyond pretty graphics and good music, I don't like this game. I don't like how monotonous it is. I hate the opening stages for how boring they were, and I despise the later stages, bosses, completion, and the works. Overall, the game just doesn't feel like it's doing much new from the last game. Yeah, there's a speed gimmick, but that's not really all that great. It's not interesting. It's not all that new. The level themes are mostly rehashes from the last game, with a forest level, a factory level, a festive level, an ice level, and so on and so forth. But in the comments, let me know what you think of this game, but you already know what I think. So with that said, that wraps up the low point of the marathon, and I hope you all enjoyed the review, and I'll see you next time.